something changed, and almost nobody noticed. For years, Malaysia was one of the world's favorite places for foreigners. Retirees loved it. Digital nomads loved it. Investors loved it. Expats couldn't stop recommending it. Cheap living, modern cities, tropical weather, English everywhere. It looked like the perfect deal. But now something strange is happening. Foreigners are quietly packing their bags. Some are moving to Thailand. Others are heading to Vietnam. Some are choosing Indonesia. And many are asking the same question. What happened to Malaysia? Did the country suddenly become less attractive? Or is there a hidden visa truth that most people still haven't discovered? Because once you see what's really happening behind the scenes, the entire story looks very different. For more than a decade, Malaysia built a reputation as one of Asia's easiest places for foreigners to settle. Programs like MM2H attracted retirees and wealthy foreigners from around the world. The formula was simple. Bring your money, spend it locally, buy homes, support businesses, and enjoy a comfortable life. Everybody wins. At least that was the idea. But after the pandemic, the rules started changing. Visa requirements became stricter. Financial thresholds increased. Application processes became more complicated. Suddenly, what once felt like an open door began feeling like a security checkpoint. And this isn't just about visas. This isn't just about foreigners. This could change Malaysia's position in one of the fastest-growing global competitions on Earth. The race for talent, the race for investors, and the race for people who can work from anywhere. Let's start with the biggest controversy. MM2H. For years, this program was considered one of the best residency programs in Asia. Thousands joined. Many built their retirement plans around it. Then came the changes. Financial requirements increased dramatically. Applicants suddenly needed significantly higher income levels and financial commitments than before. For many foreigners, it felt like buying a movie ticket only to discover the theater doubled the price after you were already standing in line. The government argued the changes would attract wealthier applicants. And from one perspective, that made sense. Higher spending foreigners could contribute more to the economy. But there's a problem. A lot of people who once qualified suddenly didn't. The result? Confusion, frustration, and growing uncertainty. But visas are only part of the story. The bigger question is, why did Malaysia tighten the rules in the first place? The answer takes us into a much larger global trend. Governments, today, face a difficult balancing act. They want foreign investment, but they also want housing affordability. They want foreign talent, but they also want opportunities for locals. They want international money, but not at the cost of political backlash. This is where the contradiction begins. The more successful a country becomes at attracting foreigners, the more pressure it faces from citizens worried about rising prices and competition. It's like inviting guests to a party. At first, everyone is excited. But if too many guests arrive, people start worrying there won't be enough food. Malaysia isn't alone. Countries everywhere are struggling with the same issue. Now, let's talk about the people reshaping the world. Digital nomads. A decade ago, location barely mattered. Today, a software engineer can work for a company in America while living in Southeast Asia. A designer in Kuala Lumpur can earn a salary from London. A content creator can run a business from anywhere with Wi-Fi. This completely changed global migration. Countries suddenly found themselves competing for people who don't need local jobs. And here's the surprising part. These workers bring money without taking much from local labor markets. That's why countries began creating special visas. Thailand, Indonesia, Portugal, the UAE, all started fighting for this new class of global worker. Malaysia introduced initiatives too. But competitors moved faster and marketed themselves more aggressively. And in global competition, speed matters. A lot. But here's where things get complicated. Many headlines suggest foreigners are leaving Malaysia, but reality is more nuanced. Malaysia remains one of the most attractive countries in Asia for many expats. Kuala Lumpur is still far cheaper than Singapore. Infrastructure remains strong. Healthcare remains highly regarded. English remains widely spoken. The food alone keeps many people from ever wanting to leave. So, Why does the narrative persist? Because perception matters. Sometimes perception matters almost as much as reality. If potential applicants hear stories about uncertainty, they hesitate. If investors hear rules may change again, they wait. If retirees feel unsure about future requirements, they explore alternatives. And uncertainty is expensive in business, in investing, and especially in immigration decisions. Now, let's look north. Thailand, Malaysia's biggest regional competitor for foreigners. Both offer tropical weather. Both offer affordable living. Both offer modern infrastructure. Both attract retirees and remote workers. But Thailand has become extremely aggressive in promoting long-stay programs and tourism recovery. Bangkok became a magnet. Phuket exploded in popularity. Chiang Mai became a digital nomad capital. Suddenly, Malaysia wasn't competing against one country. It was competing against an entire ecosystem. Imagine two restaurants on the same street. One keeps updating the menu. The other updates more slowly. Even if both serve great food, customers notice. And that's exactly what's happening across Southeast Asia. But this story is actually much bigger than Malaysia. It's about a global battle most people don't even realize exists. Countries are competing for humans, not territory, not oil, not gold. Humans, especially skilled humans, remote workers, entrepreneurs, investors, retirees with spending power. Countries now market themselves almost like products. Tax benefits, residency programs, startup incentives, lifestyle advantages. Everyone wants the same thing: productive people with money. And the competition is becoming brutal. The UAE wants them. Portugal wants them. Thailand wants them. Indonesia wants them. Singapore wants the wealthiest among them. Every country is making a pitch, which means Malaysia can no longer rely on its old reputation alone. Here's the irony. Malaysia may actually be a victim of its own success. Because the country became attractive. Because foreigners wanted to move there. Because demand increased. The government faced pressure to become more selective. And that's where the tension lives. Open enough to attract talent. Selective enough to satisfy local concerns. Welcoming enough to stay competitive. Protective enough to avoid backlash. That's an incredibly difficult balance. And no country has truly solved it. Not Canada. Not Australia. Not Portugal. Not Thailand. Not even Singapore. Everyone is experimenting. Everyone is adjusting. Everyone is trying to find the sweet spot. So, what does this mean for ordinary people? More than you think. If you're a foreigner considering Malaysia, your decision may depend on future visa policies. If you're a local Malaysian, these policies influence investment, jobs, property markets, and economic growth. If you're a remote worker, you are living through a historic shift where countries are competing for your presence. Think about that. For most of history, people competed for jobs. Now countries compete for people. That's a massive change. And we're only at the beginning. Malaysia now stands at a crossroads.